The power of the DC universe did change, and that change, it's James Gunn.
So, guys, hi, I'm Andy, and that's Chainsaw, of course. And we have a funny topic that has been happening for the last couple of months. Actually, you know what?
Yes.
The last couple of 2 years
Yeah.
since James got involved with the DC universe. And this is pre him getting the DC Studios gig, and after him getting the DC Studios gig.
I think it's actually gotten more since
It's gotten more. Like this boy loves himself some tweets. But our topic today is about James Gunn versus Scoopers. Now I want to put a disclaimer. We're not this video is not here to attack anyone. It's not an invitation for anyone watching this to go attack anyone that is mentioned in this video. But all we're doing is we're bringing up receipts and we're just bringing up past statements, and we will let them speak for themselves. So, Jordan, scoopers and rumor mills is ruining the culture information spreading that we're living in right now. Like every day there are now, it's not just about the DC universe, it's about Marvel, about Star Wars, it's about Star Trek, it's about all these things. I want you from your perspective to tell the viewers how it's ruining the industry in terms of like how people perceive what is now true and what is not true.
It's a big question because it really boils down to, fan expectation. Because a lot of times with these rumor mill scoops, exclusives, a lot of the times it gets fans to the point where they have a certain expectation of something. And then when the certain thing doesn't reach that expectation, doesn't deliver on what was reported, then it's their fault. It's not the people that reported the information saying that they're wrong or anything. It's the fact that the said product didn't do anything. And what I think is really interesting is that a lot of places, they don't respond directly to these rumors. Now, of course, what we're talking about today with James Gunn, he does, but a lot of times they don't. If they're asked a question, say like Kevin Feige's asked a question about Marvel, that's a rumor of something, he'll address it in his way, but he doesn't go on social media and respond to stuff. He just kind of sits back. And so I think it's really unfortunate because I can check my Facebook and I will see plenty of times where people that I know personally from high school or whatever, and they post about something that is clearly not true. It's an article they saw on Facebook and they think it's real. And I tell them, I have to remind people, no, it's not. They go, oh, I didn't know. Okay. Because they're just seeing a headline. They're just seeing an exclusive. Like they have no idea the legitimacy of this site versus this site. And that's the thing too. I feel like people are just not educated enough. And I get it. There are people out there that don't want to feel like they need to be educated because they don't care enough about this stuff. But if you don't know that Variety is a place of legitimacy, but versus like a site like Cosmic Book News, they're very different places. And then there's websites that no one's ever heard of that are just throwing stuff out there. And then there's people believing it because they think, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. And they don't look into it any further. So it's really unfortunate because it's now made it to the point where legitimate news is being sorted into all of this mountain of stuff that is not true, because anybody can go online and say something and people will run with it. And that's the unfortunate part of social media in general now, in terms of this aspect, this side of it, is that it's gotten this bad. But yeah,
from my perspective, because I think what's also become so dangerous now is that, and this was even before the Twitter blue thing happened as well, is that people because some accounts, some fan accounts will get a certain following, like if it's over 10,000, whatever, people will, if they post something they claim is exclusive, they will think that, oh, because they have so many followers, they must be true, they must be reliable.
Yeah.
And I've had people within my podcast network, for example, DC Podcast, sometimes come to me and ask, "Hey, is this true? Or is that true? Or what's going on?" And I will tell them, "No, because this is BS. This is like these are not legitimate sources." Um, Comic Book News is we is one big example. We got discovered again, like I mean, I don't know how many times they kept claiming about the Flash season 8 being the final season, that Grant Gustin wanted to walk away, and all that. Season 9 premieres February 8th at 8/7 Central on the CW.
They said the same thing about Supergirl and Arrow. They kept for multiple years. They just kept trying to say this season's the last one. I remember that.
Yeah, and like what? And here's the thing, I don't know. We don't know any of these people personally, so I'm not gonna go in and pretend that I know what's going on in their head. But what is very important to remember is that these days, any people can make up and say, we're hearing that, because they know, because they all, a huge problem also is that a portion of the audience that these products are targeted for are very young. Like there are a lot of like young, like kids, teenagers, young adults who also like hasn't really grasped the whole social media aspect yet. Which that's fine. We all learn at some point. I mean, listen, like I'm sure Dora and I, we like when we were both in our early 20s, like we had to learn the bigger meaning of social media and how to interpret it. But the bigger problem now is that 10 years ago there wasn't this wild spread of fire of all these kind of websites and rumors and scoopers and so on. But now they do, because they know that people online will sometimes believe just anything. And what has now made things worse, for example, is with Twitter Blue, is because not everyone is going to manually go and click to see is this a legacy verified account or is this a Twitter Blue verified check mark. If they now see that that an account with maybe like just 2,000 followers saying Kevin Feige is going to leave Marvel Studios, they're going to think it's real. And that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. Which then goes on to how James Gunn has helped change the narrative. Now, I want to make this disclaimer, because I know that this is coming up right up a lot of recent announcements that I know that people are not happy with him about. But again, it's not okay to harass or bully anyone online. That's not okay, and that includes James Gunn. Whether you agree with him or not, don't attack him. But I think credit is due where credit is due, because James Gunn has helped change the narrative quite a lot. And Jordan, because we talk about this on a daily basis. What is it that you love about what James has done to change the way that scoopers and rumor people can now maybe hopefully be stopped to a certain degree? Oh, he's cackling. He's ready to go.
I'm laughing because I'm looking over at my other screen of the documents of all of the examples of what James has done in terms of changing the narrative, because James Gunn will literally go out of his way to respond to rumors. And there's been a lot of times where he'll respond to stuff and he'll either be specific on something or he outright just completely say it's false. And one in particular I want to point out is something that came out on November 22nd from Geekosity, which is notorious, just being blunt here, notorious for lying to you. I'm just being honest here. So they claim that Henry Cavill's new contract includes Superman TV appearances. As we know, Henry Cavill is no longer being Superman. At the time of November 22nd, we didn't know that, because all we knew is that he was in Black Adam in the post-credit scene, and he had said verbally online he was back, but we found out later no contract, but he was told by the studio, make the announcement. So then this was ran by Geekosity that Henry Cavill has a new contract. James Gunn said, and I quote, "I am not sure if you're purposely lying or being taken advantage of by someone lying to you. It's probably the former, because he's purposely lying. But as I've stated on here before, no one knows what's happening at DC Studios right now other than me and Peter. That would include writing up any new contracts for anyone at this point." Now, obviously, this is before we know we're getting a new Superman. We know that Black Adam is not continuing. We know a number of things now since this tweet on November 22nd. However, at this point, no one knew exactly what was happening. No one knew. It was all speculation. So for him to go out there and say this pretty much puts all scoopers on alert, because now if you run stuff like this, immediately people will tag James Gunn. It will get traction, and he will respond. And that's the crazy thing now. There has not been a studio executive on this level that has done this. And I think this is kind of scary for scoopers. If you're a scooper going out there claiming a DC rumor, better be careful, because he will come after you. And he won't come after you and be aggressive and angry unless you fight back, which he has done with somebody. But we look at this here about, I wonder if James Gunn knew the reaction to Peacemaker was less than stellar when both fans and critics have praised it on HBO, and HBO Max has picked up a second season. And James Gunn was talking about a certain YouTuber saying the earth revolves around the sun, mothers love their children, and Grace Randolph will spout bullshit. And this is because Grace Randolph, as he has pulled up, Andy has pulled all this up.
Yeah, we will show them on screen, by the way, guys. So you can
because Grace Randolph was claiming that Bane was in Peacemaker, and then she went on to say that Bane is technically in Peacemaker, not though, because he's in the post-credit scene at the very end with one line. And James Gunn quote tweeted saying that would, by my definition, mean he was technically in the show, because she's like, well, he's technically in, but technically not, since it's the end of the show. He does not show up at the end or anywhere and has 0 lines, and he has responded to her several times in the past. It's things like this that has me hopeful for the future of DC, because scoopers will not be allowed to get away with their bullshit. If your scoop gets any sort of traction, he will respond to it. And we saw that earlier, and it's not pulled up here, but it was about the supposed discussion of Matt Reeves' Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, being a part of the larger DCU that they're building with the new continuity, the new films they're creating. And James Gunn shot down that article within an hour or two, saying he loved the guy who ran the piece, claiming he heard this rumor. He's like, you might have heard this.
This is a variety of all
places. You need better sources. That's what he said. And he's not being rude, unless you're being rude to him first, which he's proven that. But he will politely say no. And I think that that's this is a game changer. Like I said, it changes the narrative, because now you will not get away with something, which before people have gotten away with nonstop, and other people have tried to call other people out for it. But now we have a co-president of a company going online and making sure that what's going out there is the correct information and not horseshit, which is amazing. I love it. How do you think it's changed? Because I think this is a very positive change, in my opinion, because this is what the scooper world has needed. This is what the as you say, culture, the spreading and information, everything. This is what's been needed, because there's too much out there.
Yeah, because for me, like, again, and there's a lot of content creators out there that I know he's gone after, that I think, listen, I don't think he's doing anything mean. I don't think he's doing anything bad. I think he is protecting the IP that he's responsible of, because the thing is, like, and here's the thing, I understand that sometimes, and I can say this because I know people who've had sources that sometimes they don't pan out. Sometimes things do legitimately change last minute, but sometimes there will be people who will take advantage of their platforms. Like I think some of these YouTubers and people that we talked about, they will make things up, and then in the case of scenario where it actually happened, they can say, "Oh, look, we were right." But that could be something based on such a small factor of what they're coming from and so on. Again, I think there's definitely a difference between scoopers versus trade reporters, because I think trade report that guy that he went after from Variety about the Batman, I'm sure that source is probably someone that they have worked with. But the problem was that he ran with one well-trusted source. The thing is, you run that type of information when you have multiple sources corroborating that this is something that's being considered. This is journalism 101.
Especially a gigantic story that spread everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big story. Yeah.
Yeah. In one of the biggest Hollywood trades of all time, That's embarrassing. We said this on Endless Multiverse, which airs Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern here on Chainsaw Reacts. But I don't know why I did this as a CW promo. That's ridiculous. Dare to
Nexstar
chainsaw.
bought us out. Nexstar got us. We're owned by Nexstar. You didn't know that? I got the contract this morning. Sorry.
Well, then I guess I'm fired because they don't like me. But I will say this. I think James Gunn, and I don't think he should be on Twitter every day, but I think that debunking stuff that spread like wildfire, I think that's something that is worthy. I think that's important, because again, like we were talking about like Grace Randolph. I know Jordan loves her, and I love her too. But when she has been known for literally arguing with filmmakers online. Again, look up her name plus Kathy Yan.
It's amazing.
That was amazing. That was like a good, like that's like a good episode of Riverdale. That's good how the drama was. That is embarrassing to be fighting people who are actually working on these things. Well, I'm hearing this. Like, here's the thing: these filmmakers, they're not like their intention is not to be here to lie to us. Now, of course, they will withhold some information because they don't want fans to be spoiled. But if there's wild lies out there about said products, like Bane being Peacemaker, like of course they're gonna come out and say, yeah, he's not in it. Why are you saying this? So that's why I love that James Gunn. Like, we have someone like James because the thing is, even though Kevin Feige has a Twitter account, that boy is not out there debunking shit.
No.
But as we, for one of our final one of our final questions is why this strategy from James Gunn will help the DCU. Jordan, you were hinting at it before that now this is putting scoopers on alert because now like anyone can now anyone can be debunked if they're putting out false information.
I think it's smart because I think what this is doing is this is not allowing false stories, incorrect stories, lies, basically going out there that are about something like you mentioned that he is shepherding, that he is pushing forward, and that he is bringing forth a new DC universe. He's bringing forth a new continuity. And he's basically wanting to make it to where the fans know this is what we're doing, and what you're hearing over here from these other people that are trying to tell you something that is not true, that's not happening. Because he doesn't want to give false expectations. That's the thing I think he's trying to make sure that is not a thing. Because if you remember, you can go back and you will find archives of all this throughout the DCEU's history, starting from Man of Steel all the way, of course, until we're still in it now. We still have films coming out, part of that universe. You will see mountains and mountains and mountains of incorrect information, lies about the future of what they were doing in these films, and fake rumors, fake scoops about what was happening in Batman v Superman, what was happening in Suicide Squad 2016, what was happening in Justice League 2017. Of course, we got the Snyder Cut and everything, but there's a lot of rumors surrounding a lot of these projects. So now, I don't think James is going to debunk every single thing, because at some point he's going to be really busy with a lot of projects. Because once these things start going into production, he's going to have a lot more time to focus on the Superman film, the Batman film, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, all this stuff. When we start getting these projects, he's going to be too busy to cover everything and to get to everything to stop the nonsense. But he's making it to where when we go into this and we announce this, our slate, our first batch of projects in January, that people are not going in with certain expectations that they heard from a scooper or a site that told them one thing and it's not true. So I think that this is actually good for DC, because before you could say whatever you want, it didn't matter. But now James Gunn will come after you. And I think maybe that's partially why he was hired, because there's been a lot of evidence before the hiring that he did this. And maybe Zaslav went, well, you're a creative. We want you to kind of work with Peter Safran, and you're not afraid to tell people that this is not true. And maybe Zaslav likes the fact that he's not afraid to go out there to debunk stuff. And maybe that's probably what helped him got the job. I have no idea, but James Gunn has done this for years. So I think this is actually good for DC, because I don't want people to, because there were so many people I was hearing from, my fans on my videos commenting on stuff, or people responding on Twitter to things I was tweeting out, and they were hearing all these rumors and stuff over the past number of years that is not true. So now it could be debunked. James can go, this is what we're doing, and whatever you're hearing outside of what I'm telling you is not real. And I think that's a good strategy, so that there is actual communication between a studio executive and the fans, and that there is no nonsense. There is no exclusives. When there's actual news, you will hear it from James Gunn. You will hear it directly from Warner Brothers. You will hear it from DC Studios. It's not going to come from some website, because they're probably going to be very clear on what information gets sent out to people outside of James Gunn and Peter Safran, so that it doesn't get, because I think because leaks are such a major issue with a lot of studios, and they probably want to stop that as much as possible. So this is probably good.
Yeah, no,
for the future.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna add to that is, I think also, like, hopefully that it will start to educate. And when I say educate, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but I hope that it will help those who are not as aware of how bogus some of these reports can be, will learn, okay, like, because the thing is, every time you give them a click, these false rumors from these bogus websites or YouTubers, they make money off of you clicking on their stuff. Whether it is you clicking on their article, or clicking on their video that is monetized on YouTube or something, or if you go on their Twitch, whatever, they benefit from it. They get money based on you just clicking on that. But hopefully, and I'm not saying that this is somehow gonna like drag and it's gonna somehow like demonetize people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But like, hopefully, as James Gunn kind of helps, kind of set a foundation for, hey, I can, if I see BS online, I will come out and debunk it. It will hopefully make people realize, okay, we shouldn't maybe just believe everything we see online, because like I said, like, for example, if I when you see me come out and debunk stuff, I have to go to the studios and the networks, sometimes even agents or whatever, to ask, is this true? I want to know if this is true. They will say yes, or they will say no, da, 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 da. And then I go and say, let's say I didn't contact Marvel Studios, and I went out and said, yeah, it's true, it's not, the Marvel Studios and Disney has confirmed that Grace Randolph is not gonna play the new Captain Marvel. I that's an image in my head I should not have said. They could literally come and say, wait, no one at either companies have contacted you or said anything like that to you. Take that down. Like, I could get legally sued. So that's why I hope James Gunn's, the way he's taking things online, it will help people start realizing that just because someone has 10,000 followers, or just because someone has a big YouTube following, that doesn't mean that they're not always right or true. Because again, independent creators that don't work for legitimate websites or whatnot, some of them will take advantage because they like money. Like, I mean, like, listen, we all gotta put food on the table. I totally get that. But I hate the fact that they're taking advantage of an audience because people want to know what's going on with, especially with comic book properties. I understand that. We're both of us. We're both comic book fans. We love them too. But not everything you see online is gonna be true. Again, I remember when people, again, the whole thing about Bane. I'm like, why would Bane show up on Peacemaker anyway? That was just like, I would have been more like, oh, maybe what Grace is actually hearing is that he's just gonna be name dropped, because that could happen. That could have happened. But like, you're arguing with the filmmaker, like with the showrunner, that no, but like, technically it would be a post credit scene. No, but he's telling you, girl, no, it ain't happening.
If it's in an episode of Peacemaker, it's in Peacemaker. Like, if it's within episode, regardless of the time frame of the. It's stupid.
Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. Let us know what you think about the way that this culture has kind of been affected over the last couple of years with rumors and scoopers and whatnot. And the thing is, because I get it, sometimes we want these things to be true, but again, we also have to put our personal feelings aside and remember that opportunist people exist out there, and that anyone can make things up. And that's why, like, because like I had someone talk to me a couple of weeks ago, being like, you know, would you consider yourself a scooper? I'm like, hell no. I'm an insider, definitely, but like, I'm not like, I don't go out and say, I'm hearing this or that, because one, I don't want to I don't want to get in trouble with my jobs. I don't want to get these studios on me. I've had legal teams after me before. So I don't, I don't want to get David Zasla's axe.
You sure? I
Yeah.
mean, you can get it. You can get it.
I want to live at least till I'm 30, and that axe will not let me live to. There you go. He could you imagine he showed up at my doors like, the axe is coming for you, boy, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I didn't know. This is really what I'm hearing. So yeah, I'm an insider. I'm not a scooper, and I think there's a lot of people out online there who they want to get bigger. They want to get more famous. They want to get rich. I get it, but
They're just monetizing off of their incorrect information. That's pretty much what it is.
yeah, and also people with big social media accounts, some of them, it's not impossible to buy fake followers these days.
Yeah. Well, also some people do get a massive following because they post information and people think it's real, and people are like, oh, we got to follow them for the next thing. I mean, it just goes to show that literally there are people out there that are just not educated on this, and hopefully we can help them see the light, to see that this is what you would consider legit information, or at least credible information. And over here is the mountain of crap that it's getting spewed every single day. Literally, I cannot tell you how many times We Got This Covered ran their Galactus casting scoops constantly. I mean, that was a whole subsection of my We Got This Covered video, is about how many times they covered who was playing Galactus in the MCU. And at one point, they even went so far as to say Galactus is going to be female in the MCU, because they ran out of characters to say who would voice Galactus. So
that's a big pile of shit right there.
That is one big pile of shit.
Straight up.
But yes, but
let us know in the comments.
Let us know what you guys think about this. This has been a crazy thing. We've been planning this video for a little bit, and yeah, and look, this is not going to be the end. James Gunn is going, like, I can tell you right now, when that slate comes out in January, more people are going to go, well, I also heard they're doing this. He's going to go, nope, not happening. He is he's probably going to double and triple down once actual project information is out there. And once people go, I'm hearing in Superman that we're going to get Batman and Wonder Woman, he's going to go, nope, that's not true. Like, see? Because now when people go in to see the new Superman movie, they're not expecting the Trinity. They're not expecting them, because if people are reporting that and he doesn't say anything, some people will go into that theater expecting Batman and Wonder Woman to show up. And look, I get it. Sometimes you want to hold stuff back for people to enjoy in a film. But when you're out there, because if you're spreading information that the new Batman, new Wonder Woman is going to show up in the new Superman movie, there's going to be a lot of people clicking on that, like I said, giving clicks, giving ad revenue to those people, and they're going to earn money off of that scoop. And so, James Gunn, please save us. Please save us from this nightmare. My God, it's been a nightmare. It's chaos. Please. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's been Chainsaw, my co-host, Andy from In This Multiverse. We hope you guys are doing well, and we will see you guys on December 30th with our wrap-up of the year show on In This Multiverse. And we're going to be covering all the, like, not everything. We're going to cover some big major stories.
365 days.
All 365 days. And hopefully not everything will be a pile of shit. Hopefully we'll actually have some good topics to discuss. We'll try to do a blend of the good, the bad, and the disaster.
Like a YouTube rewind.
Literally, we could do a whole separate show talking about the disaster of Warner Brothers this year. We could do that, but we're not going to.
How many HBO stuff has been taken off?
How many things? And they're still taking stuff off. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will talk to you guys soon. Bye,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Bye. Crazy.